everyone. Welcome to No Quitting the Home Team. Season 3, episode 10.
Let's go.
I'm Renee.
I'm Dave.
I'm Jesse.
And thanks for joining us this afternoon for another riveting episode of No Quitting the Home Team.
Yes.
You know it.
How's everyone doing on this beautiful December day
Man,
in
it
Denver,
is-
Colorado?
It is gorgeous.
Perfect.
Perfect weather.
I do think in previous episodes we've talked a fair amount about disappointing weather stretches.
Yeah.
And this is the opposite.
Yeah.
It's
It's been glorious.
spectacular.
We've had 2 very mild snows, and otherwise it's been 40 degrees and bluebird skies.
It's
Yep.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
outside
high
right
of 53 today.
now. Yeah. Some of us just went and had coffee, an afternoon coffee outside
Yep.
At Corvus?
at Corvus.
In December.
Yeah.
Lovely.
It was, and like was a little warm. Yeah. I got to take
Yeah,
my jacket off.
I rolled the sleeves on my sweatshirt up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take that, people in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Sorry, Midwesterners.
They're digging out of 2 feet of snow.
Oh,
How are you doing, honey? You just talked about the weather. You didn't really talk about how you're
yeah,
doing.
we
Right.
went straight to small talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, doing good. Yeah, doing good. Sometimes I say good as a combination of good and great.
Somewhere in between.
But you're not good. You're just good.
I'm good. Well, we're coming off Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was so much fun. Will was here. We had a great Thanksgiving meal and sort of experience with neighbors and friends and kind of some folks from church and kind of had just,
It was a motley crew.
Yeah, it was-
That ended up being really fun.
it was so much fun.
It could have been. Sometimes those go sideways.
It could have
You
gone-
really never know.
You never know.
It could have become very volatile,
Like people didn't know each other. Very different perspectives.
wildly different
Yeah, on life
perspectives
and
and people.
Yes.
And it was amazing. It was such a lovely.
2 of the families have asked already. Hey, can we do Thanksgiving again next
Oh,
year?
really?
yeah.
I didn't know that. That's
yeah.
great.
So we're locked in.
Yeah, so I think I'm still feeling a lot of like energy from that. And then I like the time between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Like this is like the anticipation of Christmas, of knowing like Will's going to come back here pretty shortly, and the even like work is fun because the Christmas stuff, Christmas Eve services, and I don't know. I just love this time of year. So
Yeah.
it's been good. So yeah, I'm doing good. Maybe even good.
Oh, okay. Jesse?
Yeah. We usually travel for Thanksgiving. We didn't this year. It's actually the second year in a row. We did like a Friendsgiving thing with our fellowship group, and it's always excellent. They're some of our favorite people. But the big tradition is usually day after Thanksgiving, we go cut down a Christmas tree. And we went to do that this year. And all of our normal spots are closed because there's like a bug problem with a lot of those trees, and so we had to go to a different spot. And we drove like hour and a half or so near Estes to go up there, and we're on the final turn to go up into this little pass wherever we can go get a tree. And the road is completely iced over and it's closed.
Oh, gosh.
There was
man.
no way for us to know this.
Oh, gosh.
And so, yeah. So we got to turn around and then drive back down, and we ended up stopping in like Thornton and getting a tree.
Like at Home Depot or whatever.
Not quite that bad. We went to a lot, and we found one that we really liked, and it's got character, and that's what we want. We always want a character tree. But having to specifically convince the 4-year-old that the world wasn't going to end was very difficult because he was convinced that we just weren't going to get a Christmas tree. We're like, no, bud, we're going to get a tree. We're just not cutting one down. He refused to hear that. So, yeah, but it worked out. And then our whole family got a cold. And so we were just laid out for the better part of a week.
I have to say, this tradition, a lot of people in Colorado do this, the cut the tree thing down. We did it one year. It was one of those things where you were like, overrated. Like, I don't get it.
Tell that to Joshy.
They're ugly. I mean, the trees look like
Sounds like you're just
they're ugly.
not getting the right kind of tree.
It took all day. We too almost we got stuck. Yeah. I was
Maybe
like,
it just wasn't for us. We went for it, and we
got sap all over everything.
We got a giant tree. It was like a redwood or something. It was so huge.
It wasn't a redwood.
It was so huge.
180-foot tree.
Yeah.
And then it was ugly. It was like we're like,
I'm gonna pull up the photo of our ponderosa pine from last year. It was
maybe we just didn't go
gorgeous.
to the right place.
You just got to get the right tree.
So after that, we're like, we like the little city lots. Go pick the pretty one out. I did it all by myself this year.
I know.
Dave, I called Dave. I was like, hey, do you have a chance? I think he was actually meeting with a staff member. And I go, hey, you want to come get a tree? He's like, I have a meeting. I was like, well, I'm going to go.
Yeah. So
Which is kind of nice because I was just like, which one do I like?
Yeah, you didn't have to confer with anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry for everyone I feel like everyone I know cuts down their
I was
own
gonna
trees.
say Renee's just like
I know.
chucking bombs.
And I
over
like
here.
the natural thing generally. I generally think like have an experience. I don't know.
They last longer too, though. We did the
That's probably
Costco
true.
tree for
That's
a couple
probably
of years,
true.
and it was like you get it on
Crispy.
Black Friday, and you're
Yeah.
replacing it before Christmas because
Yeah.
it shed everything.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, even
Anywho.
still. How are you doing, Renee?
Yeah, Renee.
You know, fine. I'm doing fine. Good. I'm doing good.
So on the scale of
I-
fine, good, and great, keeps going further to the left here.
Yeah, I just got back from a work event.
Like 40 minutes ago. Just
Like
got
we're
back.
recording this later, and I feel bad because I hope haven't screwed up Jesse's
Oh, I'm
schedule.
completely inconvenienced, and
Because this is a
I'm
later
holding
time
it against
slot.
you.
Because we took our entire school to see the Nutcracker, and they needed adult chaperones. And often they'll do field trips on Friday, which I don't work on Friday, so I don't usually go. But I told them I often work from home on Thursday, but I said I'll go. And they needed my car to transport kids, so it was a wonderful experience. And I was on. There's a particular kindergarten boy who
Will remain
will
nameless.
remain nameless, but just really has a hard time. I think impulse control hasn't been experienced yet, and just has a really hard time. I mean, sitting still is just the tip of the iceberg of what we have a hard time controlling. Mm-hmm. So they needed one adult on him. And I have a soft spot for ornery boys. I come
I've had
by
to deal with a few of those.
yeah. So I was on this kiddo duty through the entire Nutcracker, and he climbed on me, and I told him, climb anything you can think of, like climbed on me. I was at the jungle gym for an hour. I had to keep pulling him out of the aisle for an hour. He proposed to me at a moment in the middle of the production. When the music was particularly quiet, he was like, Miss Renee, will you marry me? And then you heard a lot of chuckles. And
Oh, what's this kid's name?
Yeah. Sorry, who is this?
he's going to remain nameless. But it was really fun. I think some of these kids would have never had an experience like that.
But what did you say?
I told him I was already married.
Oh, okay.
And he said that I could have two. And I said, I have,
of a clever kid,
I
you
have
know?
my hands
Yeah.
full with one.
Hey, listen, you're still getting proposals, you know?
And we have some
Doing something right.
We have some students who are Spanish speaking who are learning English very quickly through immersion, and they were. I don't dress up often. Like I don't wear dress to work, but I thought we're going to the ballet. I'm going to wear a dress, and they kept going, Miss Renee, bonita, bonita.
Yeah, I agree.
So it was really
bonita.
fun. It was school day. Like it was a school production. So the entire theater was schools. There were a lot of homeschool groups. There were some public schools, private schools, from all over Colorado. But it was really beautiful, and it reminded me that I tried to convince you and the boys to do an event like that, and you guys laughed.
I'm always
the boys
game.
laughed me out of the room.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was like, "Hey, we should go see the Nutcracker," and they're like,
That's because they're becoming like antisocial sometimes. I feel like they're just any like activity outside. Sometimes they're like, yeah.
No, I think it was the nature of the artistic nature of the event. I even said like A Christmas Carol. Like that has
Well,
ghosts.
you and I should
and,
just go.
well, I wonder.
Wait, did you said it has ghost?
A Christmas Carol.
Yeah. But like you're.
Well, I was
You
trying to.
used that.
Yeah, I was like, it has ghosts and like chains and haunting. Come on, that's not the Nutcracker.
No, I
I
mean,
was-
no, the
argument didn't
Nutcracker
win. That
just has
argument
like
didn't-
rat kings and like it's a fever dream.
Hey, there's a pyrotechnic episode in this.
I'm
this
sure there
rendition
was.
of the Nutcracker, and we asked the kids, "What was your favorite?" And they're like, "When the house exploded."
Yep, that tracks.
Yeah. So anyway, it was fun. I'm so tired. I told our head of school, I was like, "Gosh, having little kids, being in charge of little kids is exhausting."
Takes it out of you.
I have new empathy for you,
Yeah.
Jesse.
Yeah, well.
So that was really fun. I'm tired. It's been our weeks are just nuts.
It's
They're
crazy
nuts.
until after Christmas.
Yep. Yeah, it was super fun having Will home. He called last night, and we go to bed late. We're night owls, and we had just turned the lights off. It was probably 11:30, and he called us.
1:30
Yeah,
in Boston.
Yeah, so it's 1:30, and he's like, and sometimes he calls, and he's just when it's late. Sometimes he's just like the world's caving in, and this is his finals are next week, and he has hard classes, and he was so despairing.
He was.
Dave's
he was
better.
working on-
It kills me because I'm like, oh, I hope he's okay. Dave's like, he's fine.
It's fine.
But he was in the.
It was really sweet. He called.
He was in the lab
specifically.
because he was 3D printing me a Christmas present, I think,
Oh.
of some kind.
Yeah.
Nice
He
boy.
asked what your favorite flower
Flower
was.
was, yeah.
What a nice boy.
I know. But then I was like, couldn't sleep very well because I was like, I hope he's okay, I think. So anyway, that made me sad. I have a little bit of that lingering today. I keep texting him.
Has he texted back?
No.
No.
I think he's just slammed. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Enough of how we're doing.
That's how we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. What we've learned so far.
Hard pivot to serious.
Yes.
Maybe.
So what I'm going to say right now is something that might sound trite, but sometimes what we've learned so far is that things that sometimes sound trite they're like hard. It's wisdom for a reason. It's like things that we kind of just know are true experientially for a reason. And
It's repetitively cliche for a reason.
yes,
And I have to say, the segment is what we've learned so far, and we haven't discussed this. So this may be what you've learned so far. Or do you think I would agree?
no, I
You-
mean,
you-
we'll find out.
Okay.
We'll find out. So, what we've learned so far, and this is based on sort of a renewed experience last Sunday, when all of the Morelands, we all got to go to church together. Second service, and we'll have to leave that evening. And we've observed this and talked about this off and on over the years. But what we've learned so far is that it just it's hard to diminish how important it is to go to church together.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I'm a pastor, and
Right.
so it sounds self-serving to say that. But I think just experientially, if you prioritize going to church together, and in ministry, Sunday is a work day for me, like every Sunday. So it doesn't always work out for us to go to church together. I'm at church, and you go to church, but you go as a single mom essentially, because I'm working, and yet when we are able to sit together and actually just go to a normal worship service,
Yeah, it's powerful.
the spiritual fruit from that is so rich and beautiful. And we went out to eat afterwards, and we were able to talk about the service and about the message, and just the fruit from that was it left a great taste in my mouth, and just reminded of the importance of that commitment. And I know there are seasons in life, especially with little kids, where you may not get that payoff right away. But my encouragement to those listening is that it really is worth it, to make that a value, to go to church together as a family. And again, it's not, it's a principle, it doesn't guarantee that everything's going to work out great if you go to church together. But if you do prioritize going to church together, it does set your family up for a lot more opportunity for health and spiritual alignment than you would have otherwise.
Yeah. And I think we live in a culture where it's really hard to do it. And
because
there's so many competing,
things.
Yes.
Yeah.
So many good competing that options and good competing events that are valued.
And the general community doesn't do it. So there's no cultural
Right.
expectation.
Yeah.
Right.
The cultural expectation
Because I feel like
is that
we've
you don't
seen
do it.
most people we know don't retain that practice as their kids go through middle school and high school.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. No, they kind
Like
of
even
drop
if
out.
even if that was important when their kids were little, they don't retain that practice long term.
Which is ironic because that's a time when you would need the sort of regular sort of ministry of God's word even more because you're making big decisions.
Yep.
The consequences are higher.
But it's interesting. You get out of the rhythm. I mean, even just sorry, we were in the mountains this weekend, and then we had a soccer game, and then it doesn't take long to get out of the rhythm.
No.
Yeah, I can even think of some families we know that have had just some really tumult in their marriage, but they go to church, and just watching the stability that has given. And we see a lot of unstable teenagers and struggling teenagers. And again, this isn't a guarantee; it's not correlative. But I'm so grateful for how well their kids are doing.
Yeah.
And I've thought that before. They're just one of those families that they're just always there. And I don't know where that comes from. I think some people come from families that's a priority, and so it's just the default.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I think for the long-term health of your teenagers and young adults, you think that them being at every soccer game on Sunday is the most important, and it's not.
No, that stuff eventually might work against them.
Yeah.
But going to church and the practice of it is pretty important.
Yeah.
It's hard to diminish its importance. And anyway, that's something that we've experienced and learned so far. Not because it's been easy for us to do, because it's still, it's easy for me to be super distracted because I'm literally working.
Yeah.
But like last Sunday, it was just a reminder of
Yeah.
how sweet it is.
Well, and I can say that has an impact on the people around you as well. Like seeing the Moreland crew roll in, we have a number of families that it's just every week. I know almost to the minute I can time when they're going to walk in. And some are rolling in 15 minutes before service starts. And some are rolling in 15 minutes after service starts, but I can tell you when they're going to roll in. And it's so sweet to see that is a rhythm. It's a thing that you've committed to. It's a choice you make as a family.
Yeah.
And that impacts people around you.
Yeah.
People see that.
And I don't think you realize how that value when your kids go to college, that's really the only environment they can take with them. They're not taking their high school friends with them for the most part.
Right.
They're not they played high school, whatever sport. They're not. So to find a church, it's produced such stability for Will. And I didn't think it through to that level of we want to make this rhythm so that he, wherever he is, can find a body to love and grow him. But it's been his rock.
Right. But it was a caught value. And I think it's important because sometimes people here go to church and they think of it as performative. It's just a thing that I do, but yes, it is something that you have to do. But with what we've discovered, I think, is that the value of it in terms of what it does to your soul and making you into a certain kind of person is significant, and it's different than how it is you want people to perceive you. I think some people think of going to church and it feels more social in that sense, and it can, in that way, when kids go off to college, it's a relief not to go.
Right.
Because it's a relief of pressure.
Right.
Because church was always this thing where I had to like live up to a certain standard.
Cultural
and that's not
expectation.
that's not the thing. That's not what we've discovered. It's a different value there.
Those are the waters that we all swam in, though.
Totally.
For sure.
Totally. And I have to say, when we left church on Sunday, when we got in the car, Will was like, "Oh, I miss fellowship worship so much."
Oh no!
He was like, "Oh, it's so good."
Well, we did have 3 electric guitars up there on Sunday,
which
so
is just right.
Right.
His sweet
And
spot.
right
pink
up his
guitar.
alley.
Anytime the pink guitar
Yep,
makes
I played the pink guitar on Sunday. The people long for the pink guitar.
All right, guys.
Da 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 da.
Everyone's favorite segment now, article talk. Let's talk about an article. Nay, you have this pulled up for us?
I'm pulling it up. It is in the stimulating publication Good Housekeeping.
It is
we've-
stimulating.
We've mined some gold from
We have.
Good Housekeeping.
Hey, they're hitting the sweet spot between researched and popular interest in marriage articles. So we read and are about to discuss, Do Men Really Not See the Mess? By
Is this question rhetorical?
Gemma Hartley. And the answer might surprise you.
So, some background with this. Earlier this week, we previewed this article, but I sent it out to Renee and Jesse, like, hey, let's reread this or whatever. Shortly after that text to the two of you, I get a text directly from Renee that says, I have thoughts.
3 words.
I have thoughts.
I have thoughts.
So, and then I was like, okay, I'm calling. I'm going to call right now. So, Renee, you have thoughts.
Well, I think we should preface this by saying this whole discussion, if people haven't listened to this podcast for long, I think every marriage has just their issues that, may never be resolved. And I'm okay with ours, like the issues that are just always there.
Right.
That just always, and this is just our...
Part of having a good marriage
Yeah.
is accepting the things
That
that
those
You
issues.
see it.
Yeah.
You can see
Yeah.
it. You can name it, and you can let it go. We've talked about this.
We have.
Yeah.
But I think if there is heat in this discussion, it's because this is one of our issues
Yeah.
that I think just has always produced a lot of frustration and does produce a lot of frustration. And I can get very bleak in projection related to this.
despair.
Kind of.
Yeah.
So if there's particular heat, that's what it's from. This is one of our tension points.
I'll serve as moderator if things feel like they're getting out of hand.
Okay.
Okay, so which is why I called right away. One of the things I've learned so far.
Leave no room.
One of the things I've learned so far is just call right now.
Yeah, no room for assumption. Just
Yeah.
Squash it. Squelch that.
And yet, the article didn't quite. It kind of sets up to be like, okay, here's an article that describes how terrible guys are. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't that.
It wasn't.
It was pretty nuanced. And anyway, so tell the people kind of.
Well, why don't you? Why don't you summarize it? I feel like you can summarize it in a more neutral position
Well,
and highlight what it's actually saying.
the perspective of the article is that it's addressing the lived experience that many couples have that we just talked about. That men, and the writer of the article in particular, her husband early in her marriage, she would wake up in the morning and he had already gone off to work, and there would be dishes unwashed and
Like socks in
on the floor.
kitchen.
Yeah.
that are like inside out in the kitchen and like a mess. And the house was perfectly clean when she went to bed. Now she woke up, her husband's gone, and it was a mess. So the building resentment that causes. I think almost every couple, and it's probably, I would say 80-20 or maybe even 60-40 female to male, but sometimes it's the opposite with this.
Oh, I don't think it's 60-40. I feel like most friends I have, it's
Right.
I can name maybe one couple that it's opposite.
I'm telling you, as a marriage counselor,
All right.
it's more than I would have thought. And maybe this is Denver.
Anecdotally, like,
just from
friends, yeah.
what I see, it's more than what I've thought. But regardless, I do think as a broad brush stereotype, that is a true kind of experience, and certainly we fit within this. So she's basically saying, and then there's the anecdote of man eyes, and we talk about this, dad eyes, man eyes, like the dads.
We had an example of this
In the office today.
this morning. Where
It happens all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
Well, and I
In
and
the
I-
office.
Yeah, and I like to think that I'm relatively immune to this. Like I have a very thoughtful approach to these things. This is an area that I
You
early
care how you
on-
load the dishwasher?
I very much so, Renee, very much so. And so this morning we're hanging decorations for our kids program, Christmas kids program. Do it every year. And we're hanging 40 stars from the rafters above the stage. And so Autumn and I are like, okay, let's just knock this thing out. I'll go get the big ladder. And we walk into the closet where the big ladder is usually stored. And I walk in and I go, all right, well, usually it's between those shelves. It's not there, or it's leaned up against that wall. It's not in either of those places. Okay, well, let's just go check every other closet in the building. When we ran a lap of the whole building. We're like, where is that giant ladder? And I walk into the first closet we checked, and I had walked past it to check the two spots where it usually would be. And so this to me is like a quintessential example of man eyes. It's like, I expect it to be somewhere, and if it's not there, it's clearly lost. Someone stole it. One of my children misplaced it. Who took our 20-foot A-frame ladder? No one took it. It was just 4 feet away from where I thought it was going to be, and therefore invisible.
So is that dynamic in
Biological.
This article? Is it
biological?
it's nature versus nurture?
Right.
Yeah.
Is this something that you're truly born with because you have man genes?
You don't have the gene to notice normal things.
Right. Renee,
Sorry. I'll stop.
just try.
Yeah.
I'll
Hey,
try.
don't make, hey,
I'm trying.
hey,
I'll try.
hey,
Sorry.
I'll mute
I
your
apologize.
mic. I'll mute your mic. I will do it.
I apologize to the community for the tone of disrespect in that last comment.
So, or is it nurture? Is it that we've so embraced as a culture certain expectations about what it means to be a man, or what it means to be men or boys, and what it means to be a girl, what it means to be feminine, that without meaning to, as just a collective, and all the things that make culture, all different layers of that, does that all kind of conspire together to create these really clear paths for little boys to go down and for little girls to go down, that just makes it more likely the girls are going to have more of their identity and sense of self-worth based on
In their home.
what their home looks like and feels like. That's not biological, but it's based on how, from the earliest
The
time, their
messages-
sense of
the messages they were-
self-worth is
Yep.
sort of built
Yep.
on this. And likewise, little boys, even if they do have an inclination to keep house or to be
Tidy.
neat,
To be tidy.
they begin to think, oh, that's for girls, that's a feminine thing. And so they embrace the rowdy, messy boy kind of dynamic, and they go that route. So now what's interesting, so is it nature or is it nurture? Now what's interesting is
she refutes the nature argument with the fact that men who are in professions that are deemed masculine but require a lot of organization thrive there.
Yes.
So
For
military,
example,
police officers, like they often are very neat, organized, tidy people because, so she's sort of saying, I don't think it's all nature.
right, because those are very masculine.
Yes, but they're affirmed. Those skills are affirmed within that umbrella profession.
Yes.
That's considered masculine.
Yes. So that's the meat of the article, is sort of kind of processing that. But then the end of it, and it's a short article. We've sometimes offered long articles. This is a very
Yes.
short and sweet. She kind of ends with, I think, some real practical pieces of advice. If for whatever,
yeah. Can I give she gives two zingers?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
she
read
gives
the
two
zingers.
zingers, like respective pieces of advice. One to the women, she says, "You should ask yourself: are these standards functional for my family and me, or are they perfectionistic or connected with an overly idealized aesthetic?"
That one we
sting.
talked about that one. Yeah.
But then I thought the counter zinger was equally as sharp, which I would just love to unpack multiple phrases in this, but I won't. I'll just read it. It's also important that your partner learn to be more tuned in if they're used to shirking the mental load. No one should wait to be told what needs doing. There needs to be clear expectations about how each of you will respond to the mess, and your responses, I love this part, should be equal in both timeliness and effort and efficacy. So I feel like both of those, she didn't, like you said, she didn't say, oh, those stupid husbands or whatever. She kind of gave,
And she didn't
helpful
go
advice.
just, oh, these uptight wives or whatever.
Right, right. She kind of gave helpful advice and saw it as more of a both and problem, not a unilateral problem.
Yes. So if you happen to be someone who doesn't have that impulse, whether it's given by nature or nurture.
So can I ask you
to clean?
Can I ask you, do you think you don't have it because I think in my mind sometimes it feels like lazy.
Wait, you don't think I have it?
Yeah, no. Do you we have to clarify. Do you think you have it?
You have to self-professed
you
at
have
the
to be-
beginning of this
You have to
segment
be
that he
self-aware.
doesn't have it, Renee.
Okay,
He's
okay.
Yeah.
So, do you think it's something you've learned? Because sometimes it just feels like laziness from my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sure, if somebody else is going to be a whirling dervish and pick up after you all day long, why would you? So, do you feel like I don't see it, or I was taught it's not important, or it's feminine to care about it? What is your experience reality in relation to this?
If we really were to unpack it, I think it's a constellation.
Okay.
Of factors. That's probably a little bit of everything that you've mentioned. Mm-hmm. Some of it, no doubt, is conditioning from, there are patterns that are formed that are in your, as a little kid, and
so this is the most upsetting part, because I think we've said I've let this go in our relationship. Like I don't expect this to change for us, but the most upsetting part is that this will be inherited, and that my boys' spouses, partners, wives might hate them one day for it. So what gives me anxiety related to this article isn't us. I've relinquished that to the heavens long ago.
Okay, now people are going to listen to this and they're going to think I'm not like a hoarder. I'm not like a
Honey, you are borderline hoarder.
Honey,
if you
that
did
is
not
not
live,
true.
What does his desk look like? What does his desk look like in there, guys?
Hold on. Moderator, stepping in.
Okay.
There are two places. There are two places that I've seen Dave accumulate things, and I think they're completely reasonable because they are both his workspaces. And a workspace is just that. And am I projecting because we're sitting in my workspace and it feels perpetually unkempt? Who knows? I couldn't possibly say.
I need an ally on this podcast too.
No, the reality is, if you've ever been in the Moreland basement, you've seen Dave's book collection. And I think it's been masterfully curated and assembled in a way that does not feel hoarder-esque. Dave does have a large library, So, to Renee's point, yes, Dave does have a propensity to collect books, but I've never walked into that house, whether you were expecting company or not, and thought, good God, Dave, get your life together.
Answer Jesse, how many times in the course of a month do I say, hey, honey, let's clean this. We need to clean this out. Okay. Just how many times is that a conversation?
Clean what out?
Whatever. Any space. And how many times do you come to me and be like, hey, honey, we need to get this organized? So I think some of your experience
well,
but again, now we're getting back to expectations.
Totally.
And what is communicated and fair and timely versus what is unreasonable or assumed.
Okay. So
related to your workspace in the basement, how many times in the last months have I said, hey, we need to set aside some time to go through the desk?
Well, I would say with that particular example,
which is just what he brought up.
Right.
He brought up the workspaces.
A handful of times. But I do feel like, and this is where I wish sometimes we had an Allstate, the Allstate
review.
The
roll it back. Challenge. Coach's
challenge.
Yeah, challenge flag. If we were to go through all of my drawers in the desk and all of I feel like it feels reasonable to me. It doesn't feel unorganized or unkempt. It feels like I know where everything is, but it doesn't feel unreasonable. So, but again, why I think that, this is going back to it's to answer your initial question of why am I the way that I am? It's a lot of different things. And some of it is family, early sort of impulses that were fostered in my household that, it's hard to really explain all that, but we know that's a factor. But I think other parts of it too, there are values and competing values that begin to emerge as a grown-up, where it's like if you have 1 hour of time, what's the biggest bang for our buck for 1 hour of time in a sort of a crazy schedule? How do we spend that 1 hour of time? Now, for some people, it would be critical, that the clock doesn't start until after you clean up, so you have to clean up. But then, so that's a lot of time there just for that cleanup when it's going to get cleaned up eventually and we can have that 1 hour or by me at a different time. But if we just have this 1 hour, what's the right,
I think that's where some of the rub is, because I think it's so far down on your priority list, it never happens.
Which is why
it's very high up on mine.
Right.
So I think it's the discrepancy between values.
That's why I feel like maybe we're just the right audience for Good Housekeeping, because I feel like it was helpful advice for me to go as a reminder, hey, just because you don't feel it the way Renee feels it, that's no excuse for not joining with her where she's at. Full stop. Yep. I feel encouraged and appropriately reproofed by that. And then
some conviction.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think there might be possibly, conceivably, some times where the expectation that you have for cleanliness isn't about the well-being of the family, but it's really about some ideal of what the house ought to be like.
I don't feel like it's aesthetically motivated. It's practically motivated.
Yeah. That's,
because
you know what? That is true.
because I can't
The aesthetics, though, are there.
No, it's there, but that's not the main motivation. Because when things are crazy, I can't keep, because I have to manage it all.
Yeah.
And I can't keep on top of it easily and quickly when it's in disarray.
Right.
So it's more functional.
So it's almost like when we watch MasterChef and having like a clean, having a clean kitchen in MasterChef is like really important for the chefs because that's how
They know where things are and they can get to them quickly.
keep order, and then it minimizes mistakes and it minimizes accidents. And
Yes.
so it's real. I mean, I do think there really is something like that, which goes to like the military. Like in the article, it talks about the importance of like military and law
Because
enforcement.
when I was in the military.
No, but I'm just saying some of the
functional part
The functional
would-
part
yeah,
of that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
do feel like,
Yeah.
I mean, you're like a process engineer by nature.
Right.
What I kept coming back to is it's about expectations, priorities, and habits. And all of those things can get disrupted, and sometimes it's not communicated well. But if there are known expectations that have been well communicated and shared and understood, that helps level the playing field a little bit. If you can then try to build or like set priorities based on those expectations, I think that brings you a little closer. And then from there, you can start to weave in little habits that eventually take root. And that for us, that has been the thing that has helped us. I don't want to say fully work through this, but the reality is whenever Jacob was born, our first, there was just a lot happening. There was a lot happening. Work stuff was weird for both of us. I was still only working part-time here, and then I was working part-time for a startup, and the startup was pretty shaky at that point. Shell had some postpartum stuff that she was working through, and so it was general disarray, and we had a newborn that wasn't sleeping. And so we got in the habit of, all right, neither of us are really going to sleep well because the baby's not sleeping well. And if he's not sleeping well, you're not sleeping well. And if you're not sleeping well, I'm not sleeping well. So what I got in the habit of doing is we found this rhythm of Shell and the baby would go to bed around 9. And then I would do all the dishes and I would throw a load of laundry in. And we did laundry every day. Because with a newborn, you do laundry every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that way, the kitchen would be clean, laundry would be fresh and ready to go. And so I would take like an hour and a half to do that every night. And then I would stay up until we would do the dream feed thing where we wake him up at midnight, feed him, put him back down, hope that buys you a couple more hours of sleep. And then I would dream feed at midnight and then go to bed. And that meant now it's a little easier for me. It's a little easier for me because I'm like you guys, a bit more of a night owl.
Yeah.
But that was a habit that circumstances, it was kind of born out of a need. But what it did was establish a habit of like, okay, kitchen's clean every night before I go to bed.
Yeah, and that's kind of that's lingered and that's remained.
Yeah.
I think the rub I feel is when there is such a discrepancy in priorities, and it is so low on your priority list. There has been in some things there's been clear communication, lots of communication, and it still doesn't happen regularly. So that's the impasse I feel. I think it's like there's been like lots of communication, very clear. This is the expectation. And then when it is so low, sometimes it just still doesn't happen. So I think that's where it feels like I just have to be like, I just can't high center on this.
Right.
I'm just going to have to do it all forever. And I'm okay with that because
I do feel like, though, that, again, sounds like self-justification.
You've been warned, people.
Man, it's just Just getting kicked while he's down.
Yeah. It's sometimes hard to hear this because I feel like there has been growth, but it's still different than what you would hope it would be. But yet there is growth. And so I'm kind of in this weird position that every time I tidy up every day. Every day I tidy up. I know this because I have a little checklist. I have a little check mark.
What do you tidy up? What like do
whatever
you just,
whatever crap's on the ground, whatever, like I tidy something up every day. Like every day. Because I have a little check mark on it. And now does it hit the standard of when Renee tidies up?
But that's what she said in the article, that there's like the efficacy and the timeliness and the efficiency of it needs to be agreed upon. And when there's a discrepancy with that.
And maybe that it for us is sort of a continual conversation.
Yeah.
To have an agreed upon. And like that's why this article is helpful.
Yeah.
Because there's always going to be a discrepancy there. Mm-hmm. And so always like coming to point of like, okay, what's reasonable to expect from both of us is important. But to me there and has
I think
been,
I have a baseline that for me feels like just the adult expectation. Like I would think any adult would hit this mark.
right. But that sounds kind of pejorative though too, because it's like
Yeah.
that's like to me that's like well, you should just be a man. Like you should just be any adult. You should just be a grown up. Like that's now it may be true. It may be true to have like to some extent to have that standard. And it's not your fault for thinking this is my expectation of adult. And it may be that it just is hard for me to hear that because it's an area of weakness for me. But if you want to seeing growth doesn't mean adding shame to it. Seeing growth means, I think, owning where there's weakness, but also, at least for me, encouraging where there's, like, you always want to go with where there's momentum, you know? So, oh yeah. Now,
But even in that comment, I mean, I'm not giving specific examples, but I don't have ridiculously high expectations. So even when I say an adult standard, if I gave an example, I think most people would be like, yes.
I am
every adult
should
be able to do that.
I'm going to push back a little bit. You are not in a place to say that your expectations are reasonable or not because you are the one setting them.
Right, right.
You lack an objective perspective.
Right, but I think you're making it sound like I'm like, if they're not perfectionistic expectations. And it's like to never pick up your clothes off the floor in the bathroom, right? Like if I said what some of the things were, I think people would be like, it's not pejorative to say this is an adult expectation. I don't think.
okay. Well,
Because I think you use that to just dismiss any plea to any kind of standard.
yeah. Okay. Let me think about this. I do feel like it's
Dave's eyes are closed.
I know.
He's like,
Because there's several different things you just said that I think is important to like unpack. So if we were like in a marriage counseling setting right now,
Doesn't feel dissimilar.
yeah, but the thing that I'm triggered on is you never and you always. So
Yeah.
that's like the
okay,
classic.
so yeah.
So you never pick up.
Oh, so
your clothes on the ground.
eliminate those phrases. I'm just saying. All I was saying
Oftentimes,
is you
sometimes
were
I don't.
invalidating what I said
Yeah.
by making people assume that it's these ludicrous expectations of perfection, and it's not. And if I would give examples, I think most people would be like, "Yeah, that's probably should be most adults should have that skill in their daily activity."
Well, and I think whether or not most people would agree with it, it's for us in our marriage to come to a conclusion. So whether or not it fits some sort of broader sort of community standard is almost irrelevant. It's
That's
really
not
like,
irrelevant. It's not irrelevant.
Well, no, but
well, in
also,
terms of for us to come to some, because we may come to some agreement that the majority of people would be like, oh, that's too intense, or that's not intense enough, or like the important thing is for us to be in it, to come with this discussion, for us to have some kind of agreed expectation. Otherwise, it will keep being not met, and
Right,
and
but there's
frustration
age
would
standards.
continue.
It's like when you're 16 years old, you should be able to drive a car. Like there's age standards for all kinds of things that you don't overlay this reasoning of, like, there's just standards that I don't know. I'm not gonna let, like, I feel like to do some verbal gymnastics to invalidate concerns, like, that's fine, but
Right.
it doesn't move us. It doesn't help this situation at all.
well, I feel like we're also, and this is where I feel like I need to step in. I think we're both, like, everybody's speaking in extremes about this stuff, and I will say there are areas where in our household our shared expectation might be stricter than either of yours on something. And there are others where you would walk in and you would go, what is happening? What chaos has overrun this household? And we would simply say, well, that's actually not as big of a priority for either of us.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is where I'm saying the expectations really, really matter, because yes, Renee, there is a baseline, like a functioning adult should be able to maintain this level of neatness and cleanliness, but some people are more wired towards cleanliness
Sure.
than neatness. And their kitchen will be spotless, and they will have a dirty pile and a clean pile of clothes on the floor that they operate from. It's not neat, but it's clean, right? And so this is where I think it's just for everyone, this is the helpful laying out of, is this an expectation that I have that you don't share? Where can we meet that it feels like a win for both of us? And how can we celebrate
and I think when
that?
it's just too extreme, it just is always going to be rub. Because I think we're just always going to be really far apart in those expectations and values. And so I think just even for people who find themselves there, or if you're contemplating marrying someone, that I just don't think, I think it's going to, there isn't sort of this beautiful middle that's going to be agreed upon.
No,
ever.
there is. This is where I would like point to like, are you trying to build your spouse up in what you're doing? Like, on both sides of this, like, are you trying to outdo one another in showing honor? Right. So like, Dave, are you honoring Renee's expectations? Are you honoring the vision that she has? Renee, are you honoring the work that Dave is putting in? And are you honoring the progress he's made? That's where it feels like, when I talk about like mutual expectations, that's so much of what I'm saying is like, you need to call out the good. And even if you're going to lovingly try to even out those expectations, that has to be done with a mutual understanding of like, I love this person and they're my teammate, because this can very quickly get into enemy territory. Like,
Yeah.
you're at odds with your partner instead of being on the same team as your partner.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. I think that's helpful. And this is why this article is interesting, because it's a real issue
for
It's a
lots of
real
people.
issue.
for us, for real people, including us. You know, it's not this isn't like a something that's easy to talk about.
No.
Because we have put a bow on it, and we can talk about how we used to have this thing back in the day, but now
Right.
we don't struggle with this anymore.
Yeah.
It's a real, and there are live issues. And we have to learn how to navigate live issues. But I do like the article, like, to go back to the end of it. The helpful bit is, do you see your spouse where she's at? And can you, like today, like, you can't help yesterday, but you can help today. Take agency. Can you meet her where she's at? Can you meet him where he's at? and I think that's something that's useful and that can be used to edify, and to bring understanding, even if it doesn't, even if it doesn't bring make you the same, which is not, you don't want that even in marriage, but you can bring understanding and appreciation. Well, honey,
Any final thoughts, Renee?
I think that's it. I think we've solved it.
yeah, great. Somehow,
I don't believe you.
Should read it.
Hey, you guys okay?
Should read it.
Do you need to hug it out?
yeah. Well, we have Beckett's basketball game after this. We'll hug it out then.
No, we've been talking about this for 24 years. I don't think it's going anywhere. Back to my original point. I've made peace with, but I do think there are people, maybe even earlier on, and eventually we won't have kids at home, and so it will become less of an issue. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe it's that arc's just going to play out, because when there's much less stuff to do, then I'll feel like less that I'm having to do it all, because there's less to do. So I think when the kids leave, because we had less of this conflict when we didn't have kids.
Right.
Like it makes everything else exponentially larger. Mm-hmm. The to-dos and the mess and everything. So I think this will just ride out into in 6 years.
So
In 6 years, we'll be doing a lot better on this.
What I hear you saying, just to clarify, it's the kids' fault.
No, I don't think it's the kids' fault.
Yes.
Kids just accelerate and accentuate what's already there.
Yeah, they amplify.
I think it's a helpful article, though. It's an interesting read, particularly if this is something that you struggle with.
Yeah.
All right, let's leave this article.
Wait, what are we reading for next week?
We are reading an article called Family Dinners, Key to Children's Health. It's on pointofview.net, and it is a summary of an article that was in the Wall Street Journal. From the article that we'll post, you can get access
to Wall Street Journal
to the
article.
Wall Street Journal, and if you are a subscriber, you can read the whole thing. It's really interesting. And I think something that we've kind of found, a lot of people have discovered, okay, family meals together, that's important. How do you do it? How do you do it in the real world where you have everyone's schedule is crazy?
Because over the years, you've advocated for that to look different. Like not the family dinner. Like you've advocated for alternatives to that.
Right. Well, and I think we should talk about that. The family breakfast. Can the family breakfast replace the family dinner?
Yep.
We can get into all kinds of sort of expectations we have of what family life ought to look like. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah. And psychologically, what does it actually do? Like what does that space?
Yeah. Though they point to a lot of research that shows the benefits of it. So.
Great.
Sweet.
Enjoy.
Read with us.
Yes.
All right, we are going long today.
Oh my gosh, that's because we had a real argument. We're gonna make all the kids are gonna be nervous, or mom and dad.
They don't listen. Are you kidding? They don't listen to this podcast.
Not our kids.
Oh
No, just listeners. Are gonna say metaphorically.
Oh, okay. So spouse advice. I'm gonna be quick. It's super practical, and a lot of husbands I think do this anyway. But just as a reminder. Always keep this is interesting because we share a car. So I wonder if this is unique to us because if you have your own car, regardless, do not always keep gas in your wife's car. Always keep gas in your car.
Yeah.
Because it's so frustrating to get in your car and there's like 9 miles left. So husbands, it just means a lot if we're like having that category for, I know my wife has to leave for work early. I'm just going to make sure there's gas in the car. That's it. That's my recommendation this week.
Has this happened to you, Renee?
Both sides of it have. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think both sides, as helpful as it is to have that, it's very like, oh, thank you so much. It's equally as frustrating when there's not that.
Yeah. Good advice.
Yep. Keep the gas topped off. That's it. That's all I've got.
Do we want to talk about this? Do we want to get into this even more?
Oh, guys,
No.
man. Oh,
We feeling good about
look
that?
how late we're running. Oh, shoot.
I think we should go to hot and cold.
Okay. All right. Hot and cold. Now, it's me today for hot and cold. And let me tell you something I'm hot on. And it's something.
And if
Say
you
it.
say,
No.
It's been something I've hot on.
if you say,
Yeah.
Other people have been cold on it, and I've been validated.
Bring it back.
Bo Nix.
No.
Bo
Oh my gosh.
Nix. Oh, I'm so hot on this guy.
gosh,
He's my quarterback. and he's leading us to the promised land. I'm so hot on Bo Nix, number 10 quarterback for the Broncos.
Number
I
10 on
mentioned
his
this-
jersey, number 1 in your heart.
we should just put this on you every week. You do it we just like
What's
slide
the Bo
it
Nix
in.
update?
It's just Bo Nix update.
Man,
Every time Dave does hot, we're just going to talk about Bo Nix.
one day, I'm
Listen,
telling
it's
you,
been
one
like
day.
3 months.
Yeah. So it is a callback, but it's been a long time, and people were cold on him when I was hot. But I was like, just watch.
You feeling vindicated right
I'm
now?
feeling a little vindicated. He's so good. And one day, when me and Bo Nix are best friends, I'll have him listen to this episode.
Do we
You can know
believe
that
in
was
manifesting here on No Coding the Home Team?
I'm just saying when we're best friends.
So what's so great about him? Why
Okay.
do you love him so much? Other
Okay.
than the Broncos are on an upward trajectory. Is
Yes.
that the extent to why you like him?
I like his leadership style. I like, obviously, just watching good quarterback play. We haven't had that for such a long time here. And to watch sort of competent and exciting quarterback play. I can't remember the last time I've watched a game where we were behind or when it was tied and I had zero worry as to whether or not we were going to win. And I think as just a fan, if I feel like that, I'm almost certain that his teammates feel like that the whole organization feels like that. And that's special. I think that's something that's pretty cool. So beyond like the skills and the measurables and all that stuff, I think he's able to bring confidence into the team that it's fun to watch. Denver, for those who listen to this outside of Denver is a Broncos. I mean, it's a football town.
Oh, yeah.
We love all the sports, but it's the Broncos are number 1. So, and they've been so terrible for such a long time that it's been languishing. So to have someone breathe life into it is so much fun. So I'm hot on it just because I'm a football fan, but I really am like, for the sake of the city, it's just fun to have some excitement with the team. So I'm hot on it.
Okay.
Bo, if you're listening. Just want to say I love you.
Well,
Oh, God. If you're still with us, God bless you.
thank you for hanging. Maybe shoot a text or an email to your favorite Dave or your favorite Renee and just
Yes.
let them know that you're thinking of them.
Amazing.
Just send them a little
Oh, come on.
encouraging word.
It can't be all roses and.
That's true.
No,
Gotta talk
it's
about real
good.
things in
It's
here.
good. It's
Yeah.
good.
All right. Well, have a wonderful Thursday, December. What is this? I guess it drops different. Oh, no. It's tomorrow, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, it's tomorrow.
So December what?
The 6th. Yes.
Have a great,
Have a great weekend,
have
everyone.
a great weekend.
Bye.